folks, so next up is the urogenital system. And because that's going to mean the urinary system and the reproductive systems. And because the male and female urinary systems are so similar, we're just going to do it all in one tour. So here we go. We have a female right here, male here. Okay, so we're going to start with a female. Okay. So a pair of kidneys. Okay, the workhorse of the excretory or urinary system is a pair of kidneys, one on each side. Notice just below the liver, so just posterior to the liver, one on each side. There you can see them both. So the kidneys are retroperitoneal. That means they're behind the membrane, that kind of, they're behind the coelomic cavity. And so I actually had to kind of like break that membrane to expose them. So they're pretty deep. Okay, so we're just going to stay on this side so we're not rolling back and forth. Okay, excellent. So as we already saw before, right, when you get to the medial aspect of the kidney, you're going to see the renal artery, the renal vein, but you're also going to see the structure draining the kidney, and that is the ureter. Yeah, so and that's also exposed on the other side. But again, we're going to just kind of resist the temptation to flop back and forth. Now, so the ureter is going to drain, sort of drip, 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 drip down the ureter into the urinary bladder. And interestingly enough, it does load. The urinary bladder is a structure right here. It's really muscular and it does load from the bottom. All right, and then here, right there is where the ureter from the left side is draining. So it's a bilateral structure, right? Bilateral structures, ureters draining into this midline structure, the urinary bladder, with, of course, the umbilical arteries on either side. We have some reproductive structures in between, so you're just going to filter those out, kind of. Right? So there's a good view of that ureter, right? So the distal portion of the ureter. Okay, excellent. Now, in the female, I'm going to rotate this so it's kind of in a more lifelike position. Again, okay, we can see her abdominal teats, right, and her umbilicus. Okay, and so when I put this in a more lifelike position, you can see that we have actually cracked into the pelvic canal, okay, to see the rectum, okay, and now we can also see that at the base, right, at the base of the urinary bladder, we have this canal right here. That's the urethra. So for humans, we're used to the urethra going all the way out to our urinary orifice. But remember, they don't have a distinctive urinary versus genital orifice. It's urogenital. So here's the urogenital canal. You're going to see when we cover the reproductive structures that this urethra is fusing with the vagina. And so we're going to end up with just one urogenital canal. That's it for the female.